And what is the economical solution?
The economic solution is, it's an array of things. First of all, we have to open up the playing field. We have to champion entrepreneurs. The countries that have created the most jobs have done it through small, medium enterprises. Those are the young people with the great ideas, with smart ideas, who know how to create jobs because they've got a space in a new economy. And you have to open the market enough for it to be easy to set up a business in this country. By that, we're talking about financial inclusion. So if you walked into a bank today and you wanted to borrow money to create a mobile application, and this mobile application could potentially create 300 jobs, a bank has absolutely no idea how to deal with you. Because the banking sector in this country was designed for the Rhodesian economy, for businesses that were huge businesses like your mining houses, your manufacturing plants. So they're like dinosaurs. They're getting out of business and they don't know how to deal with you. So financial inclusion is when you come with your business, I shouldn't ask you for collateral through an immovable asset where I say, bring me your title deeds. Because where are you going to find title deeds? You're a 25-year-old. Where do you get title deeds from? You're a 31-year-old. Where do you get title deeds from? So you are saying to me, if a young girl does not have title deeds, she has no chance of ever starting a business in this country. So you have got to reform the banking laws. You have got to reform the monetary policy as, I think, a first step. How many moves? The second thing I think you have to do is, for economic reform, is you probably have to get rid of the whole cabinet, because you have a cabinet of people who have never studied economics. They've never worked one day in their life. They know nothing about business. They don't run any serious businesses worth talking about. So you have people who know nothing about business talking about business. It's just like you have 10 men who are responsible for dealing with women rights issues. You know, listen to the madness of that. So the cabinet has to go. And the president, if he's serious about economic reform, needs to understand we have some serious talent in this country. People who really know how businesses work. I run a business. I employ over 300 people. I know how businesses work. And I can tell you the tax code in this country doesn't promote business. You don't raise taxes when more businesses are shutting down. You don't raise taxes when young people are trying to enter into the market. You can't say you're going to give a foreigner a tax break because they've brought in foreign capital, yet you're not going to give a young person who has sacrificed their money to go into business the same tax break. Before you worry about paying foreign debt to the IMF, what about the debt companies are owned locally? You know, you have a lot of companies who've done work for government, and government won't pay that debt. You have a lot of companies that have done work for other businesses, and government won't give a stimulus plan or won't give a recovery plan on how we get that money back into those businesses. So until government is serious about economics through means of actually bringing economists, then we are headed nowhere. So economic solution, totally get rid of cabinet, bring in people who know what they're doing, and over and above everything, do not introduce bond notes. This is the single biggest economic disaster we can have in this country. I understand why the RBZ governor has done this. He has a wound on your body. You've got a wound, and the wound is very bad, and it's starting to bleed. So what the governor has done is he's taken a bandage to stop the bleeding. The bond notes will stop the bleeding, but the bond notes are not the problem. You know, the bleeding is not the problem. How you ended up bleeding is the problem we ought to deal with. So without financial discipline, you will introduce bond notes, you will send panic into the market, you will chase all foreign capital out of the country, and you will end up with money changers coming to manipulate your currency, and you are spiraling out of control, headed towards disaster. It's like if you've ever watched the movie Unstoppable. You've got a train that's fastly headed towards disaster, and you can't really save the train. The best you can do is get everybody off the train. And in order to get everybody off the train, you need to be able to say, okay, who can we save? Because the economy is going to crash. But we can save the people who can bring it back up. That's what we ought to be doing.
Wow. So what's the way forward for Zimbabweans?
I'm glad you asked that question, because I wish we spend more time dealing with that question. Now, the first thing Zimbabweans have got to do is we have got to relieve ourselves from mental slavery. And mental slavery, I mean, we think someone is going to come to help us. Okay. This generation of young people, no one is coming to help us. No one is going to wake up tomorrow and say, hey, young people, I've got a plan for your ideas. Hey, young people, I've got a plan of how we're going to create jobs for you. Nobody is coming. So we are out here on our own. The moment we understand that, then we know that the pressure is not on attacking each other. The pressure is saying, how can we work together to get out of this mess? The couple of things Zimbabweans should do. You have the single biggest contributor to the economy in this country as a bloc is the diaspora. You have a lot of talent that is stuck in the diaspora. Give them a deal they can't say no to for them to come back. There is no reason Strive Masiwa shouldn't be able to come back to his country. There is no reason Frank Buyanga shouldn't be able to come and use his financial expertise in this country. There is no reason Hubert Angel should not be in this country teaching prosperity in this country. There is absolutely no reason why Mutumwa Mawere or James Makamba should be superstars outside of this country, yet we can't create superstars in this country. Understand this. They want to come back home. They're desperate to come back home and build their own country. But we have made it so unattractive to come home. So we are like a girl who is trying to figure out, how do I get guys? Guys being investment, girls being the resource. What must this girl do in order to attract guys to come to her? She must bath, she must clean up, she must get her house in order. It's not being stereotyped. It's saying, get your house in order. We have got to get our house in order. Zimbabweans have got to start holding their elected members accountable. If you voted for an MP, you have got to start telling this MP, unless you fix up, we're going to fix you out. If you voted for a councillor, you have to start saying to this councillor, who is my councillor? I'm going to start holding you accountable. Stop making fun of things that are not funny. $15 billion went missing. It's not funny. Why are we laughing about that? $15 billion goes missing and we want to circulate pictures to each other. That's $1,000 to you, $1,000 to me, $1,000 to every single Zimbabwean that, boom, vanish. Zimbabweans have got to start holding their government accountable. You have campaigns running online right now. You have the This Flag campaign running online. Great campaign. And Zimbabweans have got, if it's going to be one of the reasons we come together, then let us come together. But more important than a PR campaign or a Facebook campaign or Twitter campaign, Zimbabweans simply have to start going to their elected officials and says, you promised me empowerment. Where is it? It's not funny that $10 million was given to the youth fund and we don't know where any of it went. That's not a joke. That's money that could have come to support your business or any other business. So the greatest thing I think Zimbabweans can do is to start holding their government accountable.